Hello, everybody. I hope wherever you are in the world today, you are having a good time, whether you're with me live or whether you are watching this on recording. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Dr. Troy Lee, holistic nutritionist, and today I am so excited to be bringing you a topic that I just absolutely love, and that is all about how to activate your body's own stem cells so you can begin to reverse the signs of aging and even slow down aging. I love the aging reversal, especially. That's absolutely amazing. So we're going to jump into this topic tonight. And as always, if you are blessed by what you hear, or if you've gotten information that you could use for your life, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I am out to grow my channel and reach the world with how to live well and be well and stay well. So with that, let me get over here and share my screen with you. Got it here. There we go. Okay, let me go from beginning. Got it. Okay, very good, very good. I think we are all ready to go here. Okay, again, how to reverse aging and disease by activating your own stem cells, your own stem cells. I think this is just absolutely fascinating. When I found out about this, I was just gaga for like months and months and months. Okay, so first, let's talk about stem cells. What are stem cells? Stem cells are what we call undifferentiated cells with the capacity to both differentiate and multiply into over 200 cell types that form the human being. So when you were first formed in your mommy's womb, you had the sperm and the egg, and the very first cell that they made once they united together was a stem cell. They are the mother of all cells. That's where you begin. And these cells grow into your heart, they grow into your liver, they go into your brain, your eyes, your skin, your nails, your knees, everything you need to function as a human being all starts with the stem cell. Now, with these stem cells, there are two different types. There's more than two different types of stem cells. I'm just going to talk about two. So this webinar won't go too long. The first is what's called a multipotent stem cells. Now, these are adult stem cells. If you're an adult and you're watching this, you have something called a multipotent stem cells. Now, these stem cells can become a limited number of cell types. So if it's a hair cell, it can become a hair cell, this particular stem cell. Or if it's, cardiac tissue, it can regrow cardiac tissue. As an example, I'm not saying that it can, but I'm just saying when it's a multipotent stem cell, it can only grow into certain other tissues and organs of the body. That's called multipotent, and that's what we have as adults. Now, there's something called pluripotent stem cells, and these are able to turn into any cell in the body. So what type of cell did you have when you were first formed? They were pluripotent stem cells. That's how all your organs and tissues and blood, etc., got formed. Now, there is something called induced pluripotent stem cells, and this is where the excitement comes in. These are adult stem cells that scientists have coaxed back into an earlier stage of pluripotency. In other words, although we as adults have what's called multipotent stem cells, there is a way to get your stem cells back to being pluripotent, which will help heal whatever you have going on in your body. Now, isn't that amazing? Now, when did this come about? It was first discovered in 2006 by a scientist named Senyu Yamanaka. And in 2012, he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine because of this discovery. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. Stem cells, if you've ever heard of stem cells, you might be already saying, I don't want anything to do with stem cells, because when stem cells were first discovered back in probably the early 60s or whatever, they were using frozen embryos. If a couple decided to freeze their embryos to use later and then they didn't want them anymore, rather than destroy them, they could have been destroyed. But scientists were using those because what was in those were the pluripotent stem cells. And then they were also using some of the aborted fetuses. And certain groups rose up against that and said, this is inhumane, you shouldn't be using this. And of course, the scientists were saying, hey, we can use this to better mankind. But then there was a divide with people saying it just isn't something that God ever intended for us to do. So actually, President Bush put out an order to stop all stem cell research. I think it was early 2000. So anywho, when stem cells were first discovered, yes, there were embryos involved. Yes, there were fetuses involved, but that's no longer the case since this discovery that you can induce your own stem cells to become younger again, to activate again. So here's the deal. When you think about cells, cells are constantly dividing. That's what they do. And they are dividing, they're replicating the DNA that's inside the cell. And then as cells age, they don't replicate quite as well. And some even die off. So they don't live forever. So your cells are dying. And the older you get, the more cells you have that just aren't acting right. Now, we all have stem cells that are still in our body. Stem cells can replace any cell. Remember that. So if you can get a way to get your stem cells activating again, like they were when you were younger, you can begin to see a variety of healing in your body. Now, when we're young, we have an abundance of stem cells. That's why, 10-year-olds, they can fall down and be up the next day running around. They don't have gray hair. They don't have backaches because those stem cells are marching really, really strong. But as we age, our production of stem cells slow down. So when you're about 30 years old, you have about half of the stem cell activity you had as maybe an 8-year-old. And when you get to about 60, you have about 90% less. So about 10% of the stem cell activity that you had when you were younger is now going on in your body. And folks, that's what leads to aging. That's what leads to disease. That's what leads to, cardiac issues, etc. But if there's a way, and there is now a way to get those stem cells marching again in an older person, you can start to see a slowdown of aging, and you can even see reversals of aging. And that to me is just amazing stuff. So how do you get your stem cells to get marching again? Well, there are a couple of ways. One, you can have you can use your own body stem cells. And what they do is they will withdraw stem cells via your fat tissue or your blood. They just, take that out of your body. Then they put it in like something like a centrifuge and they separate out the stem cells and then they inject them back into your body. That is one way to get those stem cells marching again. Another way is to get a donor. And the challenge with that is it's hard to find a donor, an exact match. Also, with the stem cell therapy like that, it is super duper expensive. You can pay anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000, 20,000 a shot just to get some of your stem cells extracted and then put back into your body. So it's very cost prohibitive, and overwhelmingly insurance companies will not pay for that type of therapy. However, in 2018, brilliant scientists who have been working on this for over 10 years discovered a way to get your body to activate your own stem cells without any injections, medications, herbal supplements, or anything at all. And it's called photobiomodulation. And there's a way that you can use the concept of light to activate your own stem cells in your body. So let me tell you, now I just already talked about the stem cell harvesting, but this is what I'm super excited about. The fact that you can use your own, that you can activate stem cells in your body using something called photobiomodulation. And folks, I want to introduce you to that. Activate your own stem cells. It's called LifeWave X39. And let me just stop my sharing because I want to just show you this. There we go, nice and big. Okay, it's called phototherapy. Can you see that there? It's called phototherapy. And folks, this stuff is absolutely amazing. What this scientist figured out was a way to use your own body's light. We are light beings. And what I mean by that is if you were to go out and it was pitch dark outside, you couldn't see anybody. But if you put on infrared goggles, you could see the person by the heat signature, right? So in the same way that when the sun hits your skin and it causes your body to produce vitamin D all by itself. You don't have to put anything on your skin. You don't have to do anything special. Just stand in the sun and your body starts to manufacture vitamin D. We all know that to be true. In the same way, we can use the light that's emitting from our body to activate our stem cells with this wonderful stem cell activation patch. Now, folks, this is a non-transdermal patch. And what that means is nothing is going into your body. You're probably familiar with transdermal patches like the nicotine patch or the birth control patch, where you put the patch on your body and it emits and it actually has medicine on it, so it goes into your skin. Well, folks, this is non-transdermal, meaning there is nothing on this patch. But what is in this patch is a little crystal lattice, so you can see it. So this is the sticky back. I'm not going to take off the sticky back, but it just comes off there. And folks, this in the center there is a little crystal lattice. It's made up of polymers using nanotechnology, amino acids, the salts, etc. And it forms a very specific lattice shape inside this little sealed piece of plastic here, right? And that shape corresponds, when you put it on certain energy meridians, it causes your body to activate certain peptides. And in this case, it's a copper peptide called GHK, and that is responsible for stem cell activation. So scientists have figured out that younger people have higher levels of GHK in their body. And when the higher levels of GHK are present, the stem cell activity increases. So let me just say that this is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. That's not what this is intended to do. But the clinical trials prove, over 90 clinical trials prove, that when you wear this little patch, and you usually wear it like, right in the back of your neck there. That's where mine was before I took it off for this seminar today. But anyway, just kind of stick it on the back like this. Let me just turn around. I would normally just wear it right here. Okay, I just stick it there. I put it on after I take my shower in the morning, leave it on for 12 hours, and then I take it off. So the heat from my own body bounces up against this little lattice. And what happens is it drives certain light waves back into my skin, and bingo, it activates GHK, which is the peptide that is responsible for telling those stem cells, hey, wake up, we have work to do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of testimonials on file about what this little stem cell activation patch can do. It's been out again since 2018. And I will tell you, when I first discovered it, several things happened when I first put it on my body. Now, I didn't notice anything right away, but I had a shoulder injury that was 12 years old. I had this shoulder injury for 12 years old. I know exactly when I got it. I know what I was doing, and it never quite healed perfectly. So a couple of months ago, if you had asked me to do this, it would look more like this, because getting this straight up was just painful, and I just didn't like to do it. I could do it, but it was like, oh my gosh. So normally, even certain exercises I noticed I was doing where this was more slanted down, okay? Within 1 month, just totally cooled out. No pain, no anything. And that had been 12 years, people, 12 years since I was able to do that. I also had been dealing with sciatica in my left hip for over 2 years, totally knocked that out, totally gone. I have certain, I've had surgery in my life, and my skin keloids pretty much. And a keloid is like your skin has like a rope underneath of it. And depending on the size of the keloid, it doesn't look pretty, but it's also can be uncomfortable. Well, I was showering a few days ago and noticed that, hey, wait a minute, that's flattened out. And when I looked, the scar is like slowly disappearing. Folks, the last time I had surgery on that cut was like 31 years ago in 1991. 1991, it's been there that long. Amazing that this has helped it to flatten out, to flatten out, and it's even fading. That was remarkable to me. Another thing I noticed is I used to have what's called achy bladder, just totally gone. I'm noticing several changes in my body, and it took months for that, absolutely. As a matter of fact, the rule is for every decade you are old, you want to give this thing 1 month. So if you're 60 years old, you want to give it 6 months. Now, yes, some people see changes within a month, some 2 months, some 3 months. But folks, this is actually regenerative medicine. So it's not like a pill where you take and you just, and you're going to feel something the next day, like a high blood pressure pill or something like that. But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know about this, and if you don't know what stem cells can do for you, so I don't know what you may be dealing with, whether it's MS or fibromyalgia or whatever it could be. Again, we do not treat, diagnose, or cure anything, but I can tell you from the thousands and thousands of testimonies that we have on file that people are getting amazing health reversals with this stem cell activation. If you want to learn more about it, you would go to startx39now.com. That's the word start, the letter X, the number 39, and the word now.com. And you can see the research, you can see the clinical trials. And folks, some of these clinical trials are double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, quality studies that have been done to show you that this actually does what it says it does. So learn about stem cells, learn how to activate your own stem cells. I'd be happy to guide you through the whole process and even show you how you can get this wholesale. You definitely want to get it wholesale, okay? So that's my tip for today. Activate your stem cells so you can not only slow down aging, but even reverse aging in your body. Again, Dr. Troy Lee, hope you have a fantastic week and get those stem cells marching. Blessings, bye-bye.